Welcome back to AM Northwest. A new 6-part docu-series delves into the impacts of climate change on our world. Weathered, Earth's Extremes heads to communities on the front line of extreme weather events, including right here in Oregon, to explore the toll on both nature and humanity.
This morning, scientists say the 101.1-degree temperature recorded at a buoy near Key Largo, Florida this week may break a record for the highest observed sea surface temperature.
This superheated water moves out into the ocean, contributing to the heating of the Gulf Stream and the coral reefs.
You know, if that happens in any one place, it's very easy to say, oh, that's an anomaly that just happened there. But what's unique about this summer, in my experience, which is now 30 years I've been working on this, I have not seen a particular summer that is this glaringly hot everywhere.
We welcome the host of Weathered, Earth's Extremes, meteorologist Maiya May. Good to see you, Maiya. Were you looking, when we saw that clip, were you thinking about the time you were in that water and how warm it was?
Yeah, it was very warm. It was like a hot tub. Yeah, it was. That was just such a hot shoot. I am not one that gets seasick, but we were filming on a boat, and it was just so hot that I got seasick for the first time, and it was crazy. It was crazy.
Wow. You also went to you also went to Portland, Oregon, and talked about the time that we had that heat wave, which was unbelievable for all of us. And that poor woman who passed away from heat stroke, essentially, is part of the issue that now places that didn't used to get really warm, like Portland, are now heating up.
Yeah. I mean, that's a huge issue. I think that one of the big crux, or the crux of the show, is this idea that we built our environment during a time where our climate was very stable. And in the intro to the first episode, you know, we show the hockey stick, and just this exponential rise in temperature. And yeah, I think that's going to be the biggest issue, is that our infrastructure just isn't prepared for the changes that are coming, in places that, you know, are used to feeling a certain temperature. You know, they're going to start to see some changes, and we've seen that already. We're continuing to see that, even with Hurricane Helene in the Carolinas. I mean, the flooding, the video and everything that's coming out of the Carolinas it's really sad. But yeah, Portland is a big part of the series. We filmed a lot there. So I think audiences in Portland are really gonna find the show very informative and very useful.
You mentioned Hurricane Helene, because I just can't get out of my mind what is happening, and I know there's help going for them, but at the same time, like, this just seems just so much worse than we had thought it was going to be. Or am I imagining that? This is, I mean, what we're seeing, the devastation we're seeing, the death toll we're seeing is greater than I think we would have thought initially.
Yeah, I don't think people in the mountains of North Carolina expected to be impacted by a hurricane to this extent. You know, like even in Atlanta, I'm in Atlanta. We experience remnants of tropical systems all the time.
Yeah.
But the flooding was extensive, and it's because we had a massive system that produced rain days before the hurricane. So that, on top of the rain that we felt, or that we received with the hurricane, just, I mean, exacerbated the impacts. And yeah, I don't think people expected it.
No. What are some takeaways that you're hoping viewers get from the docu-series?
Yeah, I think the biggest takeaway that I want people to leave with after watching the series is that although climate change is serious, you know, we just went through some of the impacts, and, you know, there's a lot of doom and gloom. It can be very scary at times, but there are also a lot of things to be hopeful about. One of the biggest themes of the show is this idea of tipping points, and we discuss you know, the negative tipping points, kind of like some of the impacts that we just talked about, but also like the permafrost and coral reef tipping points. But we also discussed this idea of positive tipping points, and that's the idea that we are on this exponential growth path of tipping points that will help us solve the climate crisis, like electrification, like the adoption of renewable energy. So yeah, you know, I just want people to leave feeling hopeful that we're on the right track, even though things can seem bleak at times. There's obviously a lot that needs to be done, but at the same time, there are a lot of things that there are a lot of great things that are happening.
One of the takeaways I have is just how we need to plant more trees instead of having these barren areas of the city that have nothing but concrete, you know, and blacktop and all of that. That contributed to the woman's death in Portland. There was nothing to shade her walk.
Yeah, honestly, I would say that is one of my favorite episodes because I mean, I live in a hot place. I'm from Atlanta. We deal with heat a lot, and trees are essential to mitigating and adapting to extreme heat. Our climate is warming, so
Yeah.
we're going to start to experience heat and extreme heat and heat waves more often. And people don't realize that extreme heat, heat in general, is the deadliest form of weather, period. It kills more people than tornadoes, hurricanes, lightning, flooding every year combined.
Wow.
So, you know, we talk a lot about how we can adapt to that. I go to Medellin, Colombia, and they're doing a great job with trees and building their cities around trees. And yeah, it's very inspiring, and I think audiences will enjoy that and learn a lot more about how trees can help us fight extreme heat and climate change.
Absolutely. We want to tell our viewers Weathered, Earth's Extremes premieres on Wednesday on both the PBS app and YouTube. Maiya, thank you so much. Great job.
Thank you so much. You have a good one.
You too. We'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.